Hey everyone, it's your friend Carissa Wiley. Welcome to my craft room. I am so excited to have you here today. We're having a party. I have designed a brand new line in conjunction with Spellbinders, and I'm here exclusively on the ellenhudson.com YouTube channel to introduce you to this brand new line called It's My Party. So this is a look at the complete It's My Party line from myself, Carissa Wiley, and Spellbinders. It includes the Party Balloons Bouquet hot foil and coordinating die set, the It's My Party glimmer sentiments, and these sentiments are sized perfectly to fit inside this balloon bouquet over here. I have the giant party balloon along with a happy birthday sentiment and the balloon string in this set. I also have a party balloon garland and sentiment stencil. So this stencil set is designed to line up with this balloon garland to quickly color in this balloon garland with 4 different colors of balloons. You could actually add more if you wanted. And then finally, and last but not least, the It's My Party balloon bouquet designs. Now this stencil set, and it's kind of hard to see in the packaging, so I'm just going to remove it here, includes designs to stencil in on the party balloons bouquet design, and that takes them from just balloons to even more. So we have confetti, we have the little stripes here, we have balloon strings, we have the swirl, which makes a perfect lollipop, the disco ball, and with some of the dies and hot foil plates included in the set, you can also transform this balloon bouquet into cuties, ornaments, and more. Lollipops, those are some of my favorites to do, but I'm sure that your imagination is running wild because this just takes it right over the top. So we're gonna create a card today featuring these brand new products, and we're gonna mix in some Essentials by Ellen along with it, so let's get going. So I have my glimmer platform all heated and ready to go. I am going to grab the hot foil design from the Party Balloons Bouquet set here. It is this little 3 balloon design. There are coordinating dies included in this set and some bonus hot foil plates as well. This is a little leaf to make this into cuties. There is a balloon string, a sentiment that says for you, an ornament topper, and an adorable bow. So all of those include coordinating dies as well. But I'm going to start with this hot foil plate here, and I'm going to lay it on my glimmer platform. I have the pattern side or the design side facing up toward me. And I'm also going to grab a sentiment. This is from the It's My Party Glimmer Sentiment set. So all of these sentiments kind of expand on this party idea here. All of them are designed to fit within this largest balloon on this balloon bouquet. And today I'm going to foil a couple of them. I'll do the Eat Cake and It's My Party Time. As long as I'm running this through my glimmer machine and doing some foiling, I might as well do a couple all at one time. And for this, I am going to use some blush foil. So I have a sheet of my blush glimmer foil here. I'm gonna go ahead and set the timer and let that timer run. And then when the timer runs out, I'll add my foil and my cardstock and my shims, and we'll run it through our die cut machine. My timer is done, and I know that because this timer light has turned from blinking to solid. So I'm going to go ahead and release the platform from the base on the glimmer system, and I'm going to bring it over to my Platinum 6, and there I'll go ahead and add my hot foil with the pretty side facing the pattern of my hot foil plates. I'm going to add some Concord and 9th white cardstock. It is my favorite cardstock for foiling. And then I'm going to add the glimmer thin shim and spacer pad right on top of that entire thing to make my sandwich and run it through my Platinum 6 machine. Now I'm going a little bit slow, but not super slow. This just needs a little bit of time for the hot foil to press onto the cardstock. And once it's kind of run through, I can speed it up. I'll bring my platform back and dock it so it's reheating and ready for my next foiled design. And you can see I have a perfectly foiled balloon bouquet along with those gorgeous sentiments. And we've included a variety of fonts for these sentiments to kind of fit the occasion. And don't forget, with your press plate, you can use the negative portion of this foil to create more designs. So I'm not going to throw that away. I'm going to set it to the side. Now I'm going to remove these hot foil plates, which are hot indeed, from my platform. And then I'm going to bring in the Celebrating You hot foil plate from the Essentials by Ellen line. I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, and then I can prep my cardstock and my foil for this particular design and get that ready to go. So now that my timer is done, I'm going to go ahead and release the platform from the base, bring it over to my Platinum 6. I'll add my hot foil on top with the pretty side facing the design of my hot foil plate. And then once again, I'm using the Concord and 9th white cardstock, my favorite for foiling. This did kind of slide around, so I'm just going to make sure that I'm adjusted here, place that on top. Then I'll add my thin shim and my spacer pad, and I'll run that through my Platinum 6 again. Now, the cool thing about this Celebrating You hot foil plate from the Essentials by Ellen line is that I'm getting a bunch of hot foiled sentiments all at once. And with the coordinating sentiment strips die, I'll be able to die cut all of these at once as well. So I'll just bring this back and dock it onto the base. And then you'll see my beautifully foiled sentiments in this gorgeous blush foil. Look at that. So perfect. So I'm not done foiling yet, but I want to stamp on this piece of cardstock before I foil it. So I'm just going to bring in the Essentials by Ellen Swirl background. I'm going to ink it up with some Catherine Pooler Hot Tub ink. And then I'm going to kind of quickly do a stamp off so I can get a lighter version of this. And it's going to give it a little more of an antique feel. So I'm just grabbing a piece of scrap printer paper here. I'm just going to quickly place that down, and then I'll stamp this onto the Concord and 9th white cardstock. Now, if this is not quite dark enough for what I want, then I can go ahead and stamp again, but let's see what it looks like when we raise up the lid of the Misty. So it's kind of splotchy, so maybe I'll go ahead and do it again. I'm not going to use this entire portion, so I won't worry about the kind of darkness at the bottom, but I will go ahead and ink this again. I've replaced my cardstock back into the lower right hand corner of my Misty. I'll quickly stamp off again, and then I'll stamp right into the same spot. That's the beauty of the Misty stamping tool, and that's going to give me a little bit darker of a pattern. Now this has definitely a mottled look, but as it dries back, that will kind of smooth out. If you don't want that mottled look, you can ink this up and just stamp it directly on your cardstock, and that's how this is gonna look. It feels a little intense for me. I may end up using this, but let's go ahead and dry this and see what it looks like. I'm just gonna use my heat tool to dry this ink for a couple of reasons, because I wanna see what it looks like when it's dried back. But also because I'm going to foil on top of this, I want to make sure that ink is nice and dry so that when I add my confetti foil, that it will adhere to the paper, the cardstock. If the ink is still wet, the foil will have a hard time kind of adhering to that cardstock. So we'll just try that real quick. Okay, so this is what these both look like when they're completely dry. I am going to add some foiling over the top, so I'm going to bring my glimmer back in. And for this part, I am going to use the Confetti Hot Foil from the Essentials by Ellen line. So I'll place that on there, and I'll just start my timer. And the foil that I'm going to be using for this portion is the Glimmer Opal foil, and this is so beautiful. It's one of the only ones I really keep on the roll because it's hard to tell which way is the correct way to do it because it's see-through, but it has that beautiful kind of iridescent coloring to it. So I'm just going to trim off a piece here, and then I can add it with the pretty side or the correct side, which is the side that faces out on the roll, facing towards my hot foil plate. So I'm just going to lay that there, and then I can bring in my Platinum 6, and I will place this one here, which is the one that I stamped off, onto this confetti hot foil plate. And once my timer is done, I can go ahead and remove this from the base. I'll bring it over to my Platinum 6. I'll add my thin shim and my spacer pad, and I'll just run that through. And then I'm going to have a layered foil on top of this stamping, which is absolutely beautiful. And you'll notice that I'm not running my hot foil pad or my glimmer system through my Platinum 6 twice. I'm just doing it once. And I'll go ahead and remove that. And you can see that beautiful confetti pattern. I did have a little overfoiling, but I'm going to add some balloons to the center of that, so I'm not too worried about it. But how fun is that? Now, the balloon bouquet design stencil comes not only with the stencil, but a couple of masks, and you'll want to save those because you'll find it helpful when you start adding your patterns into these various balloons. And the die set, or the coordinating dies that come with the balloon bouquet here, the party balloon bouquet, they cut the outside. There's also a die that cuts the inside of this largest solid balloon, so you can make this into a shaker as well. And I'm not sure if we're going to make a shaker today or if we're just going to add some patterns to these balloons, but I'll probably make this a shaker. So I'm going to go ahead and take one of the masks that's included with this, and I'm going to hold it in place using just a little bit of crafting tape or washi tape, whatever you have on hand. I'll just kind of put this in place here. I want to bump it right up against that foil line. And this is just going to keep my stenciling from getting into this balloon here. So when I add my stencil, I can line it up with the foil outline of that second balloon here. And I can hold it in place with either some tape, or you can use a magnet if you're working on a magnetic surface. If you feel like you're going to kind of get some ink into this area down here, you can use another piece of washi tape or Post-it tape to kind of mask that off. And then I'll go ahead and start ink blending. Now for this balloon, I am going to use Nectar and Grapefruit. These are both Concord and 9th inks. And I'll start with the Nectar here. And I'm just going to ink blend that color into the balloon. I'm going to add some pattern to this balloon as well, so I'm not being really careful about making sure that this is a perfect blend, but I do want to make sure that I'm not getting up into this balloon here. If I get a little to the outside here, it's okay because I'm going to die cut that out. But these are all just little things to keep in mind as you're adding your ink blending. So I'll just add a nice light layer of that over this balloon. And then I can pick up my stencil. I'm going to leave the mask that I have in place. And I'm going to go to, let's see, I'm going to do the swirl design, which kind of matches the background that we just created. So I'll line that up there. I'll hold it in place with a little bit of tape, kind of masking off that area too. And then I'm going to use the Concord and 9th Grapefruit ink for a little tone on tone, but this swirl pattern will definitely be darker. Now, this is so much fun, the swirl pattern, because it's fun to make these little balloons into lollipops as well. So you can use the straight part of the balloon string that's included in here to create a lollipop instead of a balloon. And then we can go ahead and pull this up and see what it looks like. And that is absolutely perfect. Now, as I start to work on my third balloon, I don't want to get any of the color in the third balloon onto this little pattern that I've just created. So I'm going to go ahead and line up that second mask onto that second balloon. And I'll just grab this tape that I've already used and just hold that in place there. And then I can start adding either some stripes or some fun pattern into this. Now, if you're finding that when you add your stencil over this and that some of your first balloon is exposed, then you can go ahead and just pick up your mask and just reposition it to where it's sitting at the top of this first balloon. and then I can add some stripes on this. Now I'm going to start by actually stenciling in a base color on this. So I'll just line up that solid balloon stencil there. I am going to wipe my stencil since I've been using other colors on it. I'm going to start with Tidepool, and I'll just add that color there. If you feel like you want to mask off the outer portion of this stencil, you definitely can, but I'm going to be die cutting it out, and it looks like my stencil is going to protect the area around it enough to where I don't need to mask. So once I have that base color, so this will trim out with the die, I am going to rotate this, and I'm going to add some stripes to this balloon. So I'll just line up the stripes. And for this, I'm going to use Uptown ink. This is an intense color, so you'll want to make sure that you kind of tap off before you use it. My tape is in my way, so I'm just going to peel it back just a little. And this is going to just add that stripe pattern in a tone on tone. And any of the foil that's exposed will actually resist the ink. The ink will sit on top of it, so you don't need to worry about getting ink on your foil. Then I can remove that, and I have the adorable stripes on that balloon. Now, for this final balloon, which is the largest balloon, I think I am going to just add some color to a base layer since we're going to make this a shaker card. And so I'll do that here in just a bit. But for now, I can go ahead and remove these masks. I'll clean them and let them dry, and then they'll be ready for the next time I craft. Now keep in mind, I'm using inks today, but because you have a stencil, you could also use paste and glitter paste and embossing ink and powder through that. So this really does allow you to add not only color, but dimension to this party balloon bouquet as well. So now that I have everything ready to die cut, I'm going to go ahead and start lining up the coordinating dies. I can hold them in place once again with a little bit of washi tape or craft tape or post-it tape, whatever you use. And this is where we get to talk about this fun little extra piece on your die. That is actually cutting a slit into the bottom of these balloons. And why would we do that? Well, that's because that gives you a place to slide your little balloon string that you can foil and die cut, and we'll do that here. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and just get all of my die cutting done, and then we'll come back to you. Now, before I die cut the center out of this large balloon to make my shaker element, I'm actually going to go ahead and stencil this portion with a little bit of color. I'm not going to take a lot of time on this because I'm just adding some color to it, but I do want to make sure that I'm not getting into this area here. I'm using this beautiful Shea Butter color from Catherine Pooler. I'm using a mix of inks today because I thought it would be fun to kind of show a lot of inks used together. Perfect. Now we're going to die cut that center out so it doesn't have to be perfect. And we are going to use the small circle that comes in the balloon, party balloon bouquet set. We're going to line that up just right inside there. You can see how it kind of nestles inside that foil line really easily. I can hold that in place and then run that through my die cut machine. Just gently removing this tape because I don't want to tear any of the ink blending that I've already done or the foil. So you can see how that left just a little bit of shading on that balloon there. And then I'm going to use the outline die and create a second piece just out of some plain white cardstock. So I have this solid piece here, and this is going to act as my shaker backer. But before I put this all together, and I do have a piece of acetate here as well, I am going to just add a little bit of this Clementine ink right to the background of this largest balloon. I don't have to worry about it getting on the other areas because the only one that's going to show through that window is going to be this larger balloon. So you can see I have that beautiful orange color there. I love this orange, the Clementine orange, because it has like an earthy feel to it for an orange. I'm not sure how to really describe it, but it's a really beautiful orange. And then I am going to take the balloon strings. Now, I've foiled these. This comes in the set as well, along with the coordinating die. And this is where these little slits come in handy, because that die creates these slits, and then you can just add your balloon string right up underneath there. And then instead of your balloon string looking like it is sitting on top of your balloon, it actually looks like it's coming out. But this allows the flexibility to use this with or without balloon strings and turn it into several other things. So you're not just limited to balloons with these, because the string is separate and it has that little slit that makes it look like it's a part of the original foiling. I think this was something really great that we did that makes this set so much more versatile. So I have those slid up under there, and I'm just going to flip this over and add a little liquid glue behind each of these balloon strings to hold them in place. The third balloon string I will add at the end when we create our shaker element. And when you're lining these up, you just want to make sure that they're kind of coming straight out of the bottom of the balloon. So this larger balloon actually sits below this second balloon here in the cluster. So that'll kind of help you get it straightened out there. And I'll just add that little liquid glue on the back. Make sure everything's straight up in there. And then I'm going to just do this with my grid mat. Get all my strings straight. Then I can flip this over and add my piece of acetate to the back to make this a shaker card. So I'm just adding a thin line of liquid glue, and I've cut this piece of acetate to fit over this balloon window. Just add that in there. Then I can wipe away any liquid glue that I got on my window. I'm just using a microfiber cloth for that. Then I'll flip this over and add some foam adhesive around the back of this to create my shaker well. I've just trimmed down some really thin strips of foam adhesive, and I'm going to remove the backer off of both sides, and that allows me to really form this foam adhesive around the shape of this balloon window here, or the circular shape. This is a great tip when you're creating shaker windows that are kind of have a funky shape to them or a rounded shape. You can just remove the backer from both sides of the foam adhesive, cut it down into a thin strip, and then wrap it around. You're going to want to make sure that your foam adhesive is touching. So the ends of the foam adhesive are touching so that you can close up the shaker bits inside. I'm just going to do that and bring it all together here. Then I can just trim off the extra. And I like to use the extra portions of this thin strip that I've created to put along the balloon strings. So I'll just add that here. And then I can add some foam adhesive to the rest of this back area of this balloon bouquet. Then I'm going to add some shaker bits right inside of that well that I've created. I'm using some sparkly stars here. I maybe got a little carried away, but is there such thing as carried away when it comes to shiny shaker guts? I don't think so. So I'll go ahead and remove the backer from the rest of this foam adhesive, and then I can line up the solid portion that I've ink blended with the portions that have the foam adhesive. I'm just going to lay that right over the top, and then I'll lay that down and seal up that shaker area. And now I have this adorable shaker balloon bouquet. So cute. I love this. And I'll take that third balloon string. I'll add a little bit of liquid glue to the back of this and hold it in place. Now I don't want the knot to show because that actually will sit up higher than that. So I'm just going to make sure it's in line with all those others coming straight down from the balloon. And then it's time to just really assemble all of this on the card. I need to figure out which sentiment I want to use. But for now, I am going to just add some liquid glue to these areas. And then I will add this entire balloon bouquet onto this card front that I've created. I'll just go right about there. And then because I added liquid glue to the back of that, I should be able to kind of finagle this into place to make sure that everything's nice and straight where I want it. I do have the balloons coming off the top and the side. And I think I'm going to use this Enjoy Your Day along with the Eat Cake. Now, another fun thing that you can do with these is you can actually foil this on some vellum, and that creates a really fun balloon design. And you can foil your sentiment directly into your shaker window, or you can foil it onto your balloon and not die cut the center. So there is really a lot that you can do with this set to kind of make it look different. And with the addition of all of these sentiments that are in there to add on, then you can also just make this perfect for any occasion. And I think I'm just going to slide that kind of up and under and then press that down. Love that. I might need a little bit of foam adhesive over on that edge just to kind of keep it down. Okay, so I have my adorable card front here with my little shaker balloon. So much fun. I love that there's so many options for these balloons. And keep in mind, I'm just showing you one of the sets, one of the kind of product suites from this. So now I am going to add my card front onto a top folding A2 size card base that I've created from some Essentials by Ellen linen cardstock, just to give this a little bit of texture. And I do have this on foam adhesive just to give it some more dimension, because if you know me, you know that I like big cards and I cannot lie. So I'm just going to get that lined up there, press it into place, and that completes my adorable shaker balloon card featuring the brand new It's My Party collection from Spellbinders and me, Carissa Wiley. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching today. I hope you've enjoyed this project. And before you go, I wanted to give you a look at a couple of other projects that I created using the It's My Party line, along with some of my favorite Essentials by Ellen products. I think these are so much fun, and I cannot wait to see what all of you create using this brand new line. Be sure to share your creations online and use hashtag It's My Party Collection so I can see what you are all up to and all of your fabulous creations. Thanks so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching. As always, I will have links to the featured products used in these projects in the description at YouTube, so if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of the fabulous paper crafting and card making video tutorials shared here. And leave us a comment below and let us know which of these 3 cards is your favorite. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.